I want to be rich.
I want to be successful.
I want to meet the love of my life.
I want to be happy.
How do some people attract everything they want? And is it really just luck?
Luck? I think not.
I'm Kalina.
And I'm Selene,
Welcome to the Secret of the Cosmos,
where we explore astrology,
tarot,
feng shui,
manifesting,
universal laws,
and all the woo-woo.
the woo-woo
Yes, the woo.
that might just be the blueprint of abundance.
Hi everyone! Welcome to the Secret of the Cosmos. This is our very first episode. My name's Kalina.
And I'm Selene.
And we're here to talk about love, destiny, and a little bit of manifestation, because who doesn't want to manifest the life of their dreams? And we're going to talk about, in this podcast, we're going to talk about everything unseen that's shaping our lives, probably not backed up by science, but today our episode is going to be a Valentine's special. So Selene, as you can see, by the way, Selene and I are in different countries. But we're connected with the passion to talk about anything manifestation. Sometimes we talk about tarot cards, astrology, you name it. And today's is a Valentine's special, which is about love and the law of attraction, sometimes the myths and the truths. And what do you think, Selene? What else can we talk about on this podcast today?
I just love abundance and money.
We all, we all love money. We are, like, I always have a joke with Celine that we are slaves. And because in our
Slaves
country,
of money.
we have a term called, what do you call it? We have a phrase that alipi ng salapi, which means we're slaves to money. Because obviously we were working, we worked together, we try to manifest great things together. And when we have both of our calls, we realize that we should just record this, you know?
That's pretty much how this podcast started.
But today, so should we do the rundown of what we're going to do today, Celine? So I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 things we're going to be discussing today. Like, it's more of like just a brainstorm. And if you guys are watching this is more of like, if I feel like you are into astrology TikTok, tarot readings, because Celine and I share that all the time on TikTok.
You're more of a listener, though.
True. But if I see, because she's a Pisces and I'm a Sagittarius, but I also know her birth chart and she knows some of mine. So when we hear something about each other, like, I send it to her. And I bet you guys have friends like that. So number 1 is the law of attraction in love. Like, probably, what are the myths and truths? What's the next one?
Desperation and alignment.
Yeah. So when we were planning this, we kind of realized that there are people who are not desperate for love, but who are really seeking it. So it's not fully desperation, but it's just like more of like they're chasing attraction too much. And then we're going to talk about sometimes how people attract the same types of people. Like, for example, if you have a friend, and we always have that kind of friend of like, they always keep dating the wrong guys. So, like, that person's not good for you. Why are you there? And then
They always choose the wrong guy.
I know. And then what's next?
Patterns.
Yeah.
More astrology.
So, if you're into astrology talk, I think you will actually see a lot of patterns and like, today, tomorrow, on this time frame of the year, you have more love, things like that. And then the next one is actually a little bit controversial because they call it a real love spell, but it's more
Some
of like an
witchy stuff.
It's not witchy,
kidding.
but it kind of is, because like, even the basic stuff in life, like, for example, on your birthday, you blow candles and make a wish. That's also basically considered witchcraft in some form, and then people question like, what is witchcraft and things like that. But there's a lot of witch talk things happening. I think we should discuss that in another episode, I think. And
I agree.
then, what's next?
Lessons that we got and the stories that we can share.
Yes. So basically, today, everything that we're going to talk about, we're going to do a run through, kind of like connecting the dots on how does a person really. And by the way, for this episode, it's not just love. It's not just like romantic love. It could be any form of connection. So I personally myself do tarot readings, and whenever I do readings, obviously I don't know. It could be a work relationship or just like finding your tribe or finding a good friend, or maybe it's a friend, not just like a romantic partner, but it's the love in your life that you need. It could be within yourself, so who knows.
Is it
But
a soulmate thing?
yeah, so you friends can be soulmates, and by the way, for everyone who's watching, I was telling Celine yesterday, like, I've known you since, was it 2010 or 2011? And our, the way we met, and by the way, we were not super close when we met back in the day. It was more of like we were acquainted because we were connected by a person, which I'm not going to disclose. But we've gone close from 2018 onwards because we work together. What can you say about our connection? No,
Could it be destiny?
Destiny. The thing is, we're going to discuss this later, but I always think that everyone you meet in your life, and if you're watching this and you're like, I wanted to watch this because, like, how do we attract love? Guys, we were talking about yesterday that you will never miss out on the things. This is what you said yesterday, right? As well, that you will never miss out on what's actually for you. And I feel, and I mentioned to Celine yesterday that I actually do believe that we meet people for a reason or a lesson, and we will dive into that. But before we start, I just want to say, like, who are we for you to listen to? And why are we making this podcast? Do you want to go first? Do you want to introduce yourself? Because this is our very first episode, and I feel like if people are going to be watching this, it's not just going to be. I don't want it to be like you just listen and this is the answer. I want you to guys to relate to us in a way that you'd feel like, oh, she's a normal person too. Like, I think she knows what she's talking about, and this is. I want it to be like a safe space for everyone. So you can go ahead and introduce yourself, Celine. I love Celine.
So yeah, I'm Celine. I'm a mystery person.
We're both introverted, and she
Yeah.
has an emoji right now. I'm not seeing it, but we will eventually edit it out.
I'm extremely introverted and I'm a little camera shy, so that's why I chose to be a mystery person. But initially I wasn't really interested much on astrology, but knowing Kalina, she changed that a lot, and now I listen to her a lot about it, and
I'm sorry.
I'm really curious, and I want to know more, and it's really quite interesting, and honestly, I'm a little obsessed with tarot cards, so I always like keep asking her what my future is, and that. I know it's a little obsessive,
that
but
friend.
that's me.
No, because if anything, like one thing we also we don't watch it together, but we like watching. She likes watching Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed, and one is a believer and one is a skeptic. But the good thing about Celine is that she's not a complete skeptic, if that makes sense. Because like the thing is, I am into everything unknown because I've experienced things, haunted things, like that I cannot explain. Everything was recorded. I don't have the recording, but I was in a part of my life before I think it started just before I met you. Maybe it was 2017. Like not met you. We started working together 2018, and then a year before that we were not working together yet. And then that was a time that I was open to law of attraction. And maybe in another episode we'll discuss about the things like that are crazy, crazy stuff that I've manifested. But it makes me realize that, oh, it is possible. And if a lot of people can do it, why can't we? So we want to share that with you guys. Kind of like we're going to share success stories of people, how they did it, probably share our own stories as well. And maybe you'll relate it as well in your life, I guess. And then also I've dabbled into tarot reading, and I we do a start of the year reading every year with Selene. What's gonna happen? Are we gonna have money?
I always ask about money and abundance.
Yeah, because like I think everyone in this life always wants to succeed something, and I mentioned to Celine yesterday as well that everyone has a different notion of success. Like for one person, it could be in a really great relationship. For another person, it could be what do you call this? Being rich or being a CEO, like accomplishing things. Or one could be he wants to go up to Mount Everest or something. So I just know that, and I've been supportive with Celine. I always like make sure that it do you think? I feel like it's comforting to know that good things are coming. What do you think?
Yeah. It is comforting in a sense because you can already expect what's to be expected instead of just going blindly, running into fog covered roads. I
Yeah.
think I think it really helps that you already know what's going to happen to you. But then again,
Yeah.
these are just predictions and nothing is really
True.
set in stone. It's just for you to
Yeah.
be prepared, I guess.
And
So
I
if
say to
anything
Celine as
happens.
well, and I say to you all the time that everything is guidance. Like it's all just
Yeah.
guidance. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's gonna happen, but at least you know the themes. And by the way, when we were working together, of course we're gonna get into our topic, but when we were working together, we had a start of the year reading before. And I think you remember this. Like we were like, oh, betrayal, someone's gonna
Yeah.
leave and betray someone. And down the road during that year, someone actually did.
Mm.
And of course, I was also caught in the middle of that. It was crazy. And we predicted that start of the year. It's just a matter of how things would unfold. So when we do our start of the year readings, like, huh? There's a cold person. Who's this woman? Or there's a guy coming and things like that. And we have a person back home who does like really accurate cartomancy. Should we name her? Should we name her?
No. No, no, no.
Sure, her or just
Anonymous.
no. A. Her name starts with an A, so she's gonna be anonymous. But she is like she's not in the internet, but she really does know her stuff. Like when Celine came to my home and then she gave us readings and things like that, and they didn't even share with me these details. Like Celine and your partner didn't even tell me these details, and then she was just able to read it, and we were like, whoa. Like remember the juice, like there were
Yeah.
just there's just like details, and they're like oh, and then they were quiet, but behind the scenes we were like what is happening. But it's just crazy. So without further ado, just that's just a background. Like we like discussing predictions and things, and I send to Celine as well some Vedic astrology stuff. I've been into Vedic astrology lately, and it's so scarily accurate. But yeah, so today we are talking about love because, like, maybe we have a lot of single people watching or hoping to find love. So, what is
And
our
it's
first?
Valentine's Day.
I know it's Valentine's Day, so we're probably releasing this a day before on the 13th because we know the 13th is like the blue Valentine for Valentine's people, the anti Valentine's people. But I'm just gonna say the act of like thinking like, I'm sad in during Valentine's, do a Galentine's Day. Like spend time with your friends. It's all about manifesting love into your life. And how would you manifest that if you're alone, right? So I'm just gonna say. So for the first one, it's the law of attraction. We were talking about this yesterday, and we were saying that when you want to manifest things, because guys, if we go through all the details of like what the law of attraction is, we're gonna take a whole day. So I feel like we should just go into some details of how I think. Number one, I feel like manifestation or manifesting the love of your life requires a little bit of delusion, like believing it before seeing it. Should I give an example of the story in my life? I think you've heard about this before. So
Probably did.
when I manifested my now husband, I was with a friend. This was before we worked together. And during that time, I finished my project. So I didn't have any job, but I just started getting into law of attraction. And then I was so hopeful because I watched a documentary. It used to be The Secret. It's called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's I don't know how to pronounce her name. Byrne. Don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm butchering it. And then we went to a bingsu place, which is like the Korean dessert. So I was with my friend. And then I said to her, like, hey, I bought this like special paper. I think I still have it. That says praying for you and then like manifesting things. And then I said to her, write anything that you think that, you want, like shoot for the moon. And then since we're talking about love, the very last wish in there or like is like for my now husband to message me. But during that time we were friends, but I was kind of sad that it's been like 2 months since we last spoke because he was also traveling during that time. And when there's an inconsistent person like in your life, you kind of get upset. But I didn't really try too much to like fight it, if that makes sense, like, or fight for it, because we're just friends. Why am I expecting too much? I just said like, just message, because we had so much of a connection. And during that time, I had people who want to make me date people. And I was like, no, like, I feel bad that we were not even given the opportunity to get to know each other more. So would you believe, Celine, I wrote on the paper for just him to message me. Just that.
Oh, really? Just that?
Just that. So I made a list. There's a lot of them. Like, I want an iPhone 10. Because during that time, I thought I was going to be a flight attendant. I didn't tell anyone as well. Like, I was applying as a flight attendant. I wanted this. I want to travel to these places. Which, by the way, looking back now, I have traveled to all of the places that I've mentioned. So, and then and then more stuff. And at the very end, I'm like, what else? Like, cause there's like money, there's job, there's like life, and stuff. And then, I needed to save money. Cause like, I think to be a flight attendant before, you need to have like clear skin in here. But it's hidden. I do have a birthmark in here, which is not allowed apparently. And then I just wrote there for him to message me. And then I said goodbye to my friend. And during that time, we still had Uber Share or Uber Pool. It's Uber Pool, but Uber's not in our country anymore. And I kid you not, an hour. So I still remember it. I'm sat in the car, and then the Uber Pool thing, it's a ride sharing. So they had to go back, but we were stuck in traffic for like an hour. So I know how long it was. He just messaged, "Hey," and
You
I,
got your wish.
and no, he just said, "Hey, dot dot dot," and we haven't spoken for like 2 months. And I was inside the car, you know, like the music video, so like the window, and you're just like that, like listening to music. And then he messaged, "Hey," and I'm like, I was touching the window, like, universe, I'm sorry. And then
The universe was listening.
yeah, and then surprisingly, he did. Of course, I was trying to be like, What do you want?" in our in our
Aloof.
country's term, pabebe. In our country's term, pabebe, which is like, I'm not gonna entertain, but oh my god, like what? And then he just suddenly said to me that he was planning, because he was traveling. He was planning to do a stopover in the Philippines, and that was the time. Like I think weeks after that, that was the time that we really got to know each other, and I was just like, it's shocking, like it worked, and that's the two after 2 months of not talking. So, guys, be delusional, shoot for the moon, and you will land among the stars. And I just want to say we're married now, so that is a big thing. I'm just gonna say. So, and then we were talking about. I think yesterday we were talking about. Yes, you can be delusional, but the law of attraction is actually allergic to desperation. And I feel like I think you have a story on this, because I think you mentioned to me that you know someone. Can you tell me
Yeah.
that? Can you tell them the story again? This is
Yeah.
a bit funny.
Back then, like way back, I had this friend. This was the time when I didn't have a partner, I didn't have a boyfriend, and I've never had a partner or
Like
or a
youth,
boyfriend.
like you're so
Yeah,
young. Because I think this
I
was
was
when
so
was this, high
young.
school?
I was
Was
so
this high
young,
school?
but it was this was in high school. But for some reason, I don't know why, but some of my friends looked up to me for love advice. I really don't know why. I really don't know why they
Being
were
the
asking
single
me,
friend.
being the single friend, and they all kept asking me about love advice. So anyway, yeah, I had this friend, this specific friend. Um, she was a little, as Kalina said it, she was a little bit desperate when it comes to love. She used to always ask me, when do I think that she will have a boyfriend? When do you think her crush would notice her? And she would
Yeah.
always ask me advice on how to handle love and how to handle blah blah blah. And I always wondered, like, why is she asking me? I've never had a boyfriend.
No,
But
but
you
I
know,
feel
we have
like,
me.
during high school, I don't really would call it desperation, but let's just be honest, like running after something like again and again is an act
Mm,
of a little bit of like, don't be desperate about your manifestation. But in high school, when you're a student and like, you're a teenager, you see other
mm,
people like being boyfriend and girlfriends, and like high school crush is a thing. And I feel like maybe your friend's just trying to have that in her life, because it's like, it's cute, it's cool to have a boyfriend
mm.
during that time. Although that's not me. I was also single.
Mm.
Not until I probably graduated high school. But okay, continue your story.
It pretty much, it's pretty much the end of it, you know. The last I think around college, even though she always asked me for advice, but eventually when we graduated and we went to different colleges, I kept a little bit in touch. But I think around college, she still didn't get any partner. But I'm
She
not sure
didn't get a
since
boyfriend.
I don't think she did, and I think at that time she was still looking for um a boyfriend, but I think she still didn't get a boyfriend during
Yeah.
college. So
Because if
so yeah.
anything, when we were talking yesterday about like, do not be desperate about your dream,
Mm,
or what you want. Because like, so if you're into law of attraction, there's a creative process that you have to think, you have to ask, and then just trust the process, but not. I think we were talking what we were talking about, like the restaurant example. I think like when you have a wish in your life, pretend that the universe is the waiter, and when you order, like, by the way, there's no menu. Everything in your life is the menu. Basically, shit from the moon. Like, whatever you want in life, you can have it. It's just that it takes a little bit of delusion, yes. Because if you're not delusional, you're gonna be like, yeah, but my salary doesn't give that, or yeah, like it's not possible. You're already negating the idea. Like, for example, how would I know that I would have a partner across the earth, like like continents away? And I didn't know that, but the idea is just to have love. And by the way, when you're in a restaurant, you don't ask, so where do you guys get your garlic, or who's your supplier? You don't. You just sit there, scroll on your phone, or talk to whoever you're with, and just wait. And there's only two things that could happen. It's either the waiter tells you, oh, I'm so sorry, we don't have that available, what would you like next? So it's kind of like the universe telling you, if life says no, ask them what's next. Because either way, maybe, I always tell you this, like, rejection is a redirection. And
yeah.
there's another part as well, wherein I feel like when people try to manifest something, and when you're, for example, applying for a job, or
Yeah.
looking for someone, the more, okay, initially you're positive. As I mentioned, I was trying to apply as a flight attendant before, and I was so positive, like, I can do it. Like, I'm friendly. Like, I have the height requirement. I'm this and that. And I was so optimistic. And then after a while, when you try it again and again, and it seems not to work, because probably we're kind of impatient, because there's a creative process. The thing is, your manifestation doesn't just happen overnight. You have to be patient in the knowing and delusionally think it's coming. Because if you don't, what will happen is, what ruins it is the energy, because everything's energy. The energy that the doubts that you
Yeah.
say, when, like, you're waiting and you're not hearing from the other person, not even knowing what's happening on the other side of the situation. You tell yourself, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I thought I was good enough, but I wasn't. But you're already doubting yourself. And when it comes to the creative process, it's so important to trust and believe. But when you don't, you're already ruining the creative process. Because, like, how are you gonna, how are you gonna manifest it if, in a way, you're already canceling the thought? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, am I making sense here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so, like, for your friend, for example, like, maybe in her mind she's like, oh, how do I get a boyfriend? Like, do you know? Asking you all of these stuff even though you're single. You didn't have a boyfriend or, like, experience at all. So see, the
Yeah.
energy's not right. There are stories, I think, um I think I mentioned this to you yesterday as well. If you guys have read The Secret, or watched the documentary, there is a story there of a guy who's talking to probably like an advisor of some sort, and he said like, oh, I want to be surrounded by girls, but all of the paintings in his house were just sad one person. Like I don't remember the story really well, but that was it. Just and then the woman said, oh, change your pictures, all of the stuff in your house, like the paintings, into women, like multiple women. And he did they met up at another point, and then he did say like, yeah, I'm dating now, like I'm having so much fun with my life, like I'm seeing people, like, he's really getting to know people and having fun. And then he suddenly said like, but my goals are changing now, I want to settle down, I want to find my person. And then the woman said, like, you know what? Paint something. Paint you, a woman, and a happy life together. And then place it in your bedroom or your home. So I feel it. And then he eventually did. He eventually did meet someone and manifested someone in his life. So as for your friend, asking someone who's single is not the right way to go. That's like asking what do you call it, it's like applying for something and asking someone who's never experienced something before for that. Like what's your reference, movies? you know but I feel like she needs to surround people with like couples or stuff, but also the desperation of always trying to chase it. And part of the creative process is you have to work on yourself, or focus on, like, for example, it's the logic of the universe needs to see that you're working on it and you really want it. Because how is she gonna get a boyfriend? She's not even meeting people. Is she even meeting people? Or introducing herself?
She did. But at that time, she was more of obsessing with her crush, and I think she was asking more of ways to either to get noticed by her crush, or at least how to forget her crush.
I
Make the
remember high
hurt
school
stop or
so
something
well.
like that. And like, I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna say, I think maybe a huge portion of whoever's gonna listen to this, and if you've ever been to high school, you would know you'd have that friend who has a crush. It could be you watching this, who just wants to be noticed, and in their country we have a term kilig, and then just them glancing your way like. And that is so true. But the thing is, I feel like high school is just we're very hormonal. It's like puberty stage. I'm just gonna say. So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. But the thing is, like, present her well enough. But we're gonna discuss that later. Like how you shouldn't. That's the love spell earlier that we were talking about, but we will talk about that later, of like how you can be magnetic and attract people into your life. So what else? Ooh, so I have this concept of like wanting something and needing something to feel whole. That's not the way to go if you want to manifest something, because like desperation, I don't want to label the people watching this like, I want love so much and I'm just calling you desperate. No, it's more of obsessing on the thought. I think we spoke about pizzas yesterday. And is that part of this? Oh no, yeah, it's coming. But just basically, for example, have you ever, like, let's say you're in the office and then you randomly thought of like pizza sounds nice, just that, and then you forget about it, and then you continue whatever you're doing. That's the idea. Think of it, forget about it, and just do with your day, because it's like add to cart. When you add to cart something on Amazon, you don't like, oh, I've added that to cart. But what if it runs out of, like stocks? Hello? It's in your cart. Like just order it, and not overthink it. So it's kind of like, I want pizza. And then you realize, leading up in the afternoon, someone does order pizza for the team. Did that ever happen to
It's
you?
a miracle. Yeah. Like uh I have a different story about the craving.
Okay, you share your
Uh,
story.
um I think a couple of weeks ago I was actually craving for some fried lumpiang toge. That's what we call it in our
Spring
in our country.
rolls.
Spring rolls with veggies instead of meat.
I love that with
And
vinegar.
yeah, and I was also craving calamari.
Yeah.
Um, Coincidentally, we have a food cart near our home that have those. But unluckily for me, I got sick for a week and I
Luckily,
couldn't get unluckily,
why is it
unluckily.
okay?
No, it's unluckily.
Okay,
And luckily
okay. I'm
for
like,
me,
no.
I got sick for 1 week and I couldn't get some. But once I got better, I went straight for the food cart only to find that there was no more spring roll veggies and calamari. So I
That
just ate other stuff.
that happens a lot with vegetable spring rolls. I can relate.
Yeah.
I go to the
But
store and they
but
only
that
have this
food cart
banana cue.
doesn't usually run out of those. That's the thing. And especially the calamari. Sometimes they don't notice it, and sometimes there's still a lot. But that time, none were left. It's so sad.
Did you ever find one?
Mm, I think the next week I went back and I did have my veggie spring rolls, but there was still no calamari. But I got it today. I finally got my calamari
Huh?
today.
You got your calamari today?
Yeah, I got my calamari
Wait,
today. Just
wait.
one stick though. It took a
I
month,
said
but
to
I finally
I
got
said to
my
her,
calamari.
is it on? Oh no, it's not
The
on.
bell.
The bell. My bell. What happened to my bell? Because
Oh.
I said I don't know what's happening. Because I said to her, we should have like a bell. Like if there's something good, like story or whatever form it is, we should have a bell. But I don't know what happened to my bell. Or maybe I think I know.
There. There you go.
It was connected to my Bluetooth.
Uh,
Oh no, I forgot that if I shake it too much, it's gonna keep doing its thing.
ringing.
Okay. No, but you got your calamari, and I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
By the
I
way,
think it's because we manifested it yesterday.
because yesterday we had a call and we were like, what are we going to talk about our first two episodes? And by the way, guys, our next episode is about Chinese New Year and the Year of the Horse. And that's going to be next week. And I feel like it's going to be a lot. So we're going to do a back-to-back episode on luck for Chinese New Year. And again, we talk about luck and preparing for what's coming. So we're gonna talk about them. But I'm so happy you got your calamari.
I
And
finally did it.
I just
Got
wanna say
my
to whoever is watching, so obviously I'm not gonna super disclose where I am, but I am in the UK. And Celine, is, should I say where you are?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so she's in the Philippines. We're both from the Philippines. Represent. represent represent. No, but the thing is, I'm in the countryside, so it's what's hard is that we don't have Filipino food in here. There's a lot in London, I think. So which they're lucky because I have to like do a train ride to get to London, but we do have ways to find the foods, like because obviously in the Philippines our food is like very very slightly American, but also a little bit Asian, if that makes sense. So if I want to make kwek kwek, like it's like a quail egg with breading and stuff like that, I can make it, but I have to DIY a lot of things. Like it's so hard. So I'm so happy for you. You got your calamari.
Finally got my calamari. I almost got a
Okay.
stomach ache, but it was worth it.
But you, and by the way, on my notes it says like eventually manifested it, da, 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 but you got your calamari.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we did manifest.
Wait,
it.
can I just say on my notes, I just wrote eventually manifested it when attachment softened, but that was for the spring roll. You manifested it for the calamari.
Yeah, I finally manifested for the calamari because when I got the veggie spring rolls, there was no calamari, so I just like ate 3 spring rolls to fill in the calamari.
You know, yesterday after our call, I cooked some sweet and sour chicken, and then I was like, "Oh no, I forgot to buy pineapples," and then I just know that it's usually just available on like big groceries here. Because they usually have like canned fruits. And then I sent my husband to buy it. He got the last one, and I'm like, it's for me. It's for me. Manifested pineapples in a can. Tidbits. The tidbits. Okay, so basically, yeah, I have another story about like I know it's more of like not the delusional part or like astrological part, but I did hear a story from a friend. So it's a friend of a friend, and we met up during New Year's. And this group of people, this is about the feng shui side of things. And by the way, I'm not an expert in feng shui, but I do know some things. And I had a story from, so basically they're of age, like they're probably in their, I don't want to 50s, 60s, I think. But they found each other. So this girl said, I said, like, how did you guys meet? Like, how did you guys meet? Although we're not close, but obviously for small talk, because like, oh, they're into feng shui as well, or like manifesting. And I'm like, oh, great. And I really love meeting groups who are big into that, because it's kind of like, you know how supportive it is that you guys really want to make the other person succeed, and it's so supportive. And then I asked her, I don't want to disclose the name, let's just call her Patricia. Patricia, I don't know who Patricia is. But I'm just gonna call her Patricia. I'm just gonna, because obviously guys, like we want to make sure that the people in the story, it's their story, like we don't want to disclose who they are. I'm just gonna hide her in the name Patricia. So basically, I asked her like, how did you guys meet? And then she said to me like, no, so I work with the feng shui master. She works with the feng shui master, and she said to him, or her, I don't know, how do I attract the love of my life? Because she is already at an age where, in like, maybe she's already 40 at the time, or 50, and then she's so successful, but she still doesn't have that person in her life. And then the person, maybe the lady, the feng shui master, said to her, put a fountain in your house, like, and then she just placed a fountain. And then she forgot to put it at a certain direction. She's like, I have a fountain now. It's not working. And the fountain is not really a fountain. It kind of looks like a bird. Where the birds drink their water and like shower.
Like
it just looks
like
a bird bath. Yeah. So it's just like that. And then she placed it there, and then and she said to her feng shui master, it's not working. And then eventually she said, no, face it on like, I don't know which direction. Like she had a compass and everything. I forgot what direction it was. And then she moved it. And then I think a few days after, she met him. And I was just like, what? So, it makes it brings
That
me to the
sounds
question.
strong.
I know, no, but it makes you actually question whether, because we spoke about this before. Do we all live in a simulation? Wherein this is what this podcast is all about? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is there like a cheat sheet, a hack, or a formula that is not taught in the school, that if we do it, or if we do more of it, or if we just like process the way, like, because obviously there's so many concepts. There's law of attraction, there's like feng shui, there's astrology, Vedic astrology, there's tarot, and like, birth charts and stuff like that. And these are not scientific, but it was discovered in such a way, and a lot of people find it accurate enough. And then this woman just did something and manifested the love of her life. Obviously, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what kind of feng shui that is. You guys can look it up, maybe look for a feng shui expert somewhere. But it did work for her. So it's just like, I'm just going to say it's more of like, I think it's the intention as well that she really wanted to manifest that person.
Mm-hmm.
And she does believe. And I think manifestation wise, I know that's feng shui, but if you're going to correlate it to manifestation, it's more of she believes it's going to work, right? It's like,
Yeah.
is it considered placebo? Maybe.
Could
I
be.
think so.
Isn't
Could be.
isn't manifestation and claiming
Yeah.
placebo
Kind
too?
kind of like believing, like, for example, if someone gives you a rock, carry that every day. This is my lucky rock, and then they pass it to you like, oh, I have the lucky rock. I'm gonna be lucky today. Kind of like concept.
Yeah.
But the fact that you believe in someone so much that you believe everything they say, that is faith, not just in the universe, but you believe that something's gonna work. And then she did manifest it, because like she has that
Yeah.
energy of acceptance. So if you're watching and you're still single, don't doubt that you're not, because there's my God, like the world is so big. And take it from
True.
me, my partner, obviously he's here from the UK, and I'm from the other side of the world. How the heck did the world say, you know what, I'll find you a perfect partner that ticks all of your boxes? And the unfortunate part is just he's gonna be in the other side of the world. And now I can't see Selene all the time. So this is long
Oh,
distance friendships.
long distance friendship.
Yeah, but I think it's a belief system. What do you think about that? Like, have you ever seen someone? Have you ever heard stories like that before, or is there someone that
Mm,
you know?
can't. Mm, I don't think I know anyone who has that. The same story as yours. Nothing that comes up to my mind.
We know tea and other stories, but we're not gonna disclose things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like people that we know knew. Oh, should
Yeah.
I like another anonymous person, the friend
Yeah.
that
Sure.
the
Why
previous.
not?
So we, well, I used to have a friend that Celine also knows, and she was also in a point in her life that she wanted to settle down. And during that time, by the way, basically when I was supporting her because she just got out of a relationship. It's been a few months after that relationship. So 3 month rule wise, it's already finished. And I was so supportive because like it was a long-term relationship, and then she left. And then I said to her, what do you want in a guy? What do you want to manifest? And by the way, during that time, I still was not into law of attraction. I just asked her, what your ideal man is. And by the way, she listed all the things, and she did say, I think I'm supposed to say this on a different part, but I'm just gonna connect it anyway. She said, "Oh, I want someone stable, like who has a business, very smart, very educated, because she's an academic." And then I was just like, "Oh, that's really great." She listed that. And by the way, you know this person because like this is a different person now, not the person we're both friends with, but we have common people.
Oh, okay.
You know her. You know her. She's one of my best friends. And then I asked her, "What's your ideal guy?" And by the way, she did. She did meet the guy who ticks all the box, and I'm like, "Oh my god, you manifested this person." So now, and by the way, I'm just gonna say, I'm not claiming it that I'm that friend, but I feel like I'm the kind of friend that if you're single and you come to me, I'm gonna ask you, let's manifest the man of your life. I did that for maybe 2 to 3 friends now. I'm just gonna say 2 to 3 friends. This is not part of our discussion yesterday, but I'm gonna share you 3 love stories that I feel
Maybe
like I'm gonna
those who wants to find the partner this Valentine's Day should ask Kalina here. Comment.
I feel like I've
Comment
contributed.
your dream man.
I feel like I've contributed to it. So this friend, she wanted a businessman. Da, 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 da. So she met the guy. Like they worked. They kicked it off. You know, when I say to people, be very scarily specific what you want. And I know it's part of like my closing thing. I mentioned to Selene yesterday that when you're trying to manifest the person that you want, like think of relationships as kind of like internships that when you meet, let's say you date this first person, then you realize like, oh, I didn't like that this person was like, maybe this person has anger management issues, control issues, and like I didn't like that. So when you finish that or end that relationship eventually, and when you move to the next person, you now know what didn't work for you, what works for you. Like for example, it's kind of like being an internship. You work from your first job to a second job. Like, oh, I didn't want to work full time. I want to be part time. Or like, oh, I didn't want to work far away. I wish it was closer to home. You know what I mean? Like, eventually you'll figure out that, oh, that's not for me. You learn something about yourself. And then you have to be very specific because like this girl that I was talking about, this friend, she did tick the box, but eventually the relationship ended because she should have asked loyalty. Because let's just say something happened. She should have asked for loyalty. She should have asked that this person must love me. You know what I mean? So it didn't end up properly. And then she rechanged. I said to her, reframe it. What do you want in a person? And I asked her again. And then now, by the way, they're back together. But the person now is changed. Can I just say that? Completely changed. Like, and by the way, they're married now. That's that person. And I had to reframe to her. And then there's another person, which is a friend from my first job, that she was single for like just single for the longest time ever since I met her and stuff. And when I caught up with her, like we had dinner together and we don't really meet up that much. And I said to her, like, I held her hand and I said, like, look at me. We're going to manifest it. No, I don't know how or why it's going to happen but let me know who is your ideal person. And she gave me all like, I want him to be kind. Like, you know, there's like, there's a celebrity like, oh, do you know the celebrity? Do you know her husband? Kind of like that guy, like very, like guys who are very clean looking and who has like collared shirts, who has gelled hair and looks so kind.
Oh yeah. I
Something
have
like
an idea.
that. Something like that, and is also in the things that she likes, like she plays badminton and things like that. I kid you not, months after she met someone. She met someone.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And they're married as well. They're married now as well. And then last but not the least, this is like the first person. This person acknowledges that I was the reason why she met the love of her life. I used to work with her in my second job. And then she was just single. Can I just say she was just single for the longest time? She's very religious. And then, but she is near her 30s, like nearing 30 during that time that I met her. And then her mom kept on pushing her, like, date already. Like, you're getting old. Like, you know, the societal pressure of like, don't be an old maid or something like that. And during that time, and by the way, I'm not that I'm judging anyone who has a dating app. I didn't have a dating app, but I said to her, let's try getting on a dating app. I'm gonna look for people for you. But I was also curious because during that time it was quite new. Like Tinder was quite new in our country. And then I said to her, let's just download. And it was so funny. And it's also very scary. Can I just say, Selene, it's so scary to a point that imagine we download the app and we have fake names. We have, I think I named myself Chloe. I don't know why. So
Hey, Chloe.
Chloe, yeah. So I downloaded the app. We were having a sleepover because she lives in a dormitory, but she has the room to herself. And then I slept over at her house because it's near our work. And then I said to her, like, we were just like together, like, you know, like, ew. And then, you know how scary it is? The same guys were messaging us, like sending inquiries, and it was all copy paste. And I'm like, oh my God.
Sketchy.
It's like, sending a job application and hoping for one to reply. And I was just like, what?
It's like a job application.
I know, and there's a lot of like men who don't show their face, but it's all just gym pictures. And I was like, this is not for you. Because like she wanted someone that's like, oh, I want God to be the center of our relationship. Like she's really religious. Like she goes to church and like she has like community. She does Bible study. So you know, it's like I don't know if I can find someone on this app for her. Like we even tried Christian dating something website. And like who and then I was just like, why is everyone above the age of 50? So it was a really funny night. And then I said to her, I'm gonna uninstall, but the thing is, just and I think there's like another website. What is it? OkCupid or something. And I feel like it's more decent for her because like Tinder is like weird a little bit, and then just weird. Like there's like, and I'm so sorry to whoever's gonna watch this. I know you're a guy, and if you're doing it, I'm so sorry. Respect to your hustle, whatever you're doing. But it's just like there's like just a lot of like gym pictures, and I'm like, I'm like, why? And
We call those thirst traps.
I know, but it's just more of, I think the difference with women who are actually in there to meet someone, and sometimes and I know people, and sometimes guys are just like there for fun. And it's a different notion of fun that people would think. And I do believe that people actually do find love in these places. And then, by the way, this friend that I used to work with, she kept the app. And during that night that we were talking, someone introduced themselves. So apparently the guy is from another country, but we have the same nationality. And it was a small world. Yeah. And then they started talking, which grew into something. I didn't know that she stuck to just talking one person out of the random boredness that we were just like, I was just like being adventurous for one night and like finding someone for her. And then eventually the guy visited his family back home, and then they met up and they clicked. And then they started talking every day. He would send her boxes of balikbayan boxes, like big boxes of like stuff, like things for gifts, chocolates and stuff, probably Costco runs and things like that. And it was just so nice. And then now she's married. She's now based in the US. She's moved countries. And she's still, even to now, she tells her husband, like, she's the reason why I met you. You have to thank her. You have to thank her, because if it wasn't for that night that we were just like stupidly downloading all of these dating apps and like places and registering. And by the way, she registered with a fake name. I had to ask her. How did you break it to him that you're not catfishing him? So yeah, like I just know, like, if you're finding people, and by the way, you don't have to be desperate. See, she wasn't even looking for one desperately. And that's, but a little bit of like just one action. The action of you trying to find someone and just like not desperately like, it's more of like, I not being a need, just more of like that, if that makes sense. So yeah, I try and push people to manifest whatever they want to manifest in life, what their goals are, and just saying that. Well, what can you say? I'm now like a matchmaker. These people have children now. I'm just gonna
Kalina,
say
the matchmaker.
Life was brought to this earth with my not matchmaking skills, but just like, let's manifest the man of your dreams.
Like I said, for those who want to date on Valentine's, comment below.
Wait, Valentine's
Maybe.
is tomorrow. By the time that this is out, the Valentine's is tomorrow. I cannot find some, but I'm just gonna say, list down all of the things. Whoever's watching, list down all of the things that you want in a guy, and then
the man of your dreams.
and then just and later, by the way, the love spell thing that we were talking in the beginning, we're gonna tell you that, because I feel like that's the key to really manifesting the right kind of people.
Next on The Secret of the Kosmos.
Working hard is just a concept. Manifesting wise, you don't need to work hard.
Does the rule opposites attract apply?
Imagine, even in the paranormal sense, you can manifest something out of thin air. So what more in life?